How's everyone egging today? Eee.
Pretty
Anyways,
excellent.
extremely good. Alright, so before we begin, just want to remind you all that PG-13 podcast. And today we're just going to be talking about Maverick's incident. So, where do we start, Maverick? How did this begin?
It all started on a dark, rainy day. Literally, a dark, rainy day because it's dark because it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and rainy because we're in. Wait, can I tell them where we are? We're in Kentucky.
Sure.
What the fuck? I just
Come
walked
here.
down the
Come here,
stairs
bro.
and I get, hey there, neighbor. Hey there, neighbor. Anyway,
What the fuck?
so basically, I was. Little did I know how the day was gonna be. I'm so intrigued by this
Clyde.
tutorial. What is he talking about?
I think he's
Leave me
giving us a
over by
tour
the
of our
coop.
farm, feller.
Oh hell yeah! But
Meet me by the coop, fellers.
I'm so distracted I can't even tell the story. All right, so it all happened so fast. I don't even know where to start. I'll just tell it how it was, feller. So I was walking out to Zane's car because we work out in the mornings, and I took that step, and that's how it started when I broke my ankle. That was obviously the first step. But if I had to describe it to someone, it felt like somehow the top of my foot ended up as the bottom of my foot in that like slip. Somewhere along the way, my foot was upside down, like on my fucking leg.
What the
And,
fuck? What the? Oh!
Oh my god! Oh my god!
Holy shit!
Is it attack?
Holy shit! Whoa!
Oh, it didn't attack me.
Okay.
But
Okay.
the first thing that hits is pain. And it's not the kind of pain like you get stung by a bee kind of pain, you know. This pain is like, I didn't even know this shit existed. I didn't know my brain could feel that kind of pain, alright? And at the time, I obviously didn't know if it was broken or sprained, but I assumed it was broken when my toe hit a piece of grass when my stepdad and Zane was carrying me to the car, and my whole foot spazzed up, like all my muscles gripped, and it made it feel worse. And I did feel like my foot was disconnected from my leg. Like it just felt that way because I couldn't move it or anything. Well, I could move it, but whenever I did move it, it didn't feel stable, I guess. So it almost felt as if it was two completely different objects. But that wasn't the case. In my case, it just felt that way.
Yeah.
But, I mean, where did I... Oh, so many things were happening. And I wish Zane was here to help me sort of talk about how it actually happened. But, I mean, that's the gist of it, was I fell. And there's nothing special to how I broke it. But the experience afterwards is where it really sucks. Like, the pain and everything, you can get through that. You can get through that easily. But getting to the hospital was awful. I had nothing to set my leg on or anything like that. And I was in a small-ass car, so every rock in the Loretta roads out yonder basically hurt. And I get to the hospital. Now, this is where the story gets interesting. Okay? So, we pull up at the little emergency entrance, and my mom gets out, And I told her, I was like, tell them to get a couple of dudes, some strong guys to help me get out of this car or something, right? And she tells the nurse that. The nurse proceeds to ignore all instruction, get a wheelchair, and whip it around to my car door. And she doesn't get any help. It's just her. And she says to me, we don't know if my foot's broken at this point or anything like that, keep in mind. She's like, you're going to have to get out of the car on your own and get in the wheelchair on your own. I was like, oh, okay. Well, and then I had to keep my foot stable with my own arm. Like, think of a splint, how it keeps it, stable in one place. I basically had to do that with one arm. Because if I let my foot go limp, then it felt like my bones were grinding up against each other, and it turns out that they actually were from the way it broke. But anyway, so I get put on the task by myself to hold my foot, get out of the car. Keep in mind, I'm like full panic mode at this point. Like I said, it was raining, and then my driveway is gravel, so I got scratches, blood on my shirt, all kinds of crazy shit going on. I'm wet and cold. It was like 33 degrees or something. I'm wet in the car. I'm like, I don't know if I could say I'm traumatized. I probably would. But like, it is just, at this point, she's telling me that I'm on my own, basically, is what my mind went into. Is you're on your own with this, buddy. So,
Yeah.
now, if I'm sure everyone watching at this point is all our friends at school, but I'm a big dude. For anyone watching that doesn't know, like, I'm fat, alright? That's why I was going to the gym. And for me to get out of a car, one hand, one foot, because my other hand is holding my leg, and my foot's obviously, I can't put weight on it without it feeling awful. It was quite the first task at the hospital to get into a wheelchair with one foot, one hand, for a guy who's never practiced, like, using only one foot or anything. Because now if I had to do it, obviously, I would just swing in it, like, in and out of there. All right, I got it down pat. But at this point, already I knew the experience with these nurses wouldn't be the best. And I'm sure I can't fully blame them because it was 5 in the morning. Having a broken ankle coming in at 5 a.m. would be kind of ridiculous, if I have to say so. But I mean, they didn't exactly give me the best service downstairs, but so that was the first encounter of the hospital. So I finally get in the wheelchair, we get in my room, whatever, and I don't know if this is how it is, but in movies, right, nurses always check for more injuries, right? That's what they're supposed to do. Because if my foot's hurting, I might not be paying attention to my back or something if my back's hurt. They didn't check. Well, at least to my knowledge, I don't want to go full throttle, shit talking them, but to my knowledge, it didn't look like they checked my back. They didn't feel it. They didn't ask if this hurt, whatever. They straight up laid me on a bed. Now, keep in mind, the foot in question doesn't have a shoe because during my fall, somehow my shoe came off, but I have a sock on. So this injured foot, still has a sock around it. Now, I'm not a genius or anything, but if someone broke something, I'm pretty sure it starts swelling soon. Maybe not like majorly swelling, but I would try to get a sock off. I can't imagine a sock would be too comfortable, right? They basically left the room. I asked if I could get some help with the sock. They basically said I have to wait for the doctor. I ain't gonna wait for the doctor because my foot, I'm trying to see what's going on. So I ended up taking the sock off by myself. It was an awful experience, okay? I don't know if anyone's broken their ankle trying to get the sock off, but it's not fun. So that was already at this point, I'm like, these nurses, I don't know if they don't care about me or what's going on, but they're not treating me like a patient. Okay.
Yeah.
So, now, my next part of the story is just how long the wait was. but I can't really blame that on anything because, like I said, it was so early. We basically, all right. So I was about to say something, but I have to explain something else first. So I had to get an X-ray to see if it was broken, and this was no easy task. And they were expecting me on some ibuprofen, right, to get to the X-ray machine and put my foot straight up and down. And the way my foot broke vertically and horizontally. It's shattered, basically, like glass. So, and it's my smaller, like the smallest ankle bone of the two. So it's on the bottom of your, like, ankle, right? So for me, they basically expected me to do the impossible because even if I was brave enough to put my foot straight up and down on that machine, it would just sort of like collapse on itself, and I couldn't hold it up because the bone's broken that supports that kind of like foot position. Like it's like a building standing up without the bottom floor. Like it doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I wasn't even, I wasn't even trying because I knew with the pain that wasn't going to happen. I straight up pussied out and told them I couldn't do it. I ain't even going to lie. I pussied out of that immediately. So what ended up happening is they brought the machine to me, and my foot could only lay like horizontally on the table because, like I said, I couldn't hold it up or anything at this point. They didn't even ask me about that. The whole time I'm just sitting there holding it at a certain angle, and they didn't ask why or anything. They didn't care, really. But, so we get the x-rays done, and after the x-rays, the doctor looks at it, and I can't give him too much shit, I guess, because I wasn't man enough to get on the x-ray machine. But they tell me it looks like I'm not going to need surgery, and I can get a boot and go home, right? And at this point, I'm like, oh, so maybe I just, sprained it, fractured it. He said I fractured it. I'm like, oh, okay, it's fractured, That's it's not broken or, like, broken seriously, I guess. So I'm like, all right, sick. So I'm, like, waiting. They're like, all right, so we ask a specialist. He's like a below-the-waist specialist, like bone-wise, I guess, if he could take a look at it, and he said he wants to come here. So now we're waiting on this surgeon to come check me out in person, right? Now keep in mind, this whole time, I'm telling them I need supports, right? From the beginning, when they said about the x-ray thing, I'm like, all right, I need supports, I can't move it, blah, blah, blah. And no one even attempted to wrap it or give me a pillow. My mom had to get under the sink to get me a pillow out to set it on. Like I said, I don't want to get sued or nothing. I ain't going to say what hospital it is. But the surgeon shows up, and he hasn't seen me at this point, but he says he needs a CAT scan. And I'm like, all right, well, I didn't get in the x-ray machine, so obviously I'm not getting in the CAT scan. So they still push me to the CAT scan machine just for me to sit there and tell them I can't get in it, whatever. And eventually, they put me on some really good pain medicine, thinking I'd be able to set it up on the CAT scan machine if I just felt better, I guess. And so I go there, and like on the way out, the surgeon stops us. And he's like, I'm going to ask him a couple questions before you get him in the CAT scan machine, if I could talk. And so we're like, all right, that's cool. We go back to the room, and he starts asking me, all the big boy questions that I was expecting to be asked in the first place. And eventually, he comes to the conclusion that it needs to be wrapped before I try to move it. And I was like, yes, thank you. Thank you. I've been trying to tell these fools forever to get it wrapped so I can move it. And so he wraps it up real good, real tight, whatever. It actually feels better at this point with the real tight wrapping, real tight. But I'll get back to that later on. So we get to the machine, I get a CAT scanned, but it was no easy feat. All right, we there's these special like U-shaped blocks they have, I guess for these kind of cases, and we had to get me off of one bed onto the CAT scan machine. And the CAT scan machine is really like small for a guy my size. So I'm freaking out the whole time thinking I'm going to fall off just trying to get on the bed. So eventually we get on there, and then came the process to get it in this block. I'm telling you, it felt more painful than breaking it the first time. I'm not even exaggerating. It was awful straightening my leg out and straightening my foot out. It was terrible. But eventually we get the CAT scan, and the surgeon, comes in about 2 hours later. At this point, I'm just relaxing, trying to get my mind around it, Snapchatting it, obviously. And he comes back, and he's like, we're going to need to do surgery today, or you're not going to walk correctly the rest of your life. I'm like, oh, okay. It was kind of, I was under the impression we weren't going to need surgery at all, and I was throwing a boot on this bitch and getting out of here today. He comes in. Yeah, if you don't have surgery today, the swelling's going to get too bad to operate on tomorrow, and the swelling could go down in like 2 to like 5 weeks, and if you wait that long and then have surgery, then you're not going to walk correctly because your bones will be messed up, basically. I was like, oh, okay, that's a little different of a scenario than I've been sitting here for like 4 hours thinking. So it was like, it was a lot to process for someone like me. Like, if you know me in real life, you can imagine what this was like hitting me in the face. But eventually I was like, well, obviously I'm going to do the surgery today. And he's like, luckily for you, a bunch of stuff got delayed, and I'll actually be able to get you in today. Because if all the delays hadn't have happened, then he couldn't have done the surgery that day, and who knows what kind of story I'd be telling right now. But all the things aligned for your boy Maverick, and everything got delayed enough where he could squeeze me in for that day. I was like, okay, that's good news. I like hearing good news. But what about this walking incorrectly? And he's like, well, basically, your bone's shattered, and like with a typical break, it would be like two puzzle pieces coming back together, right? But my shit, like, shattered. He called it dusted. So basically what happened was it ended up with two puzzle pieces that didn't connect. So if I had waited and they had changed shapes or whatever, like gotten even worse, and it didn't heal together because it wasn't being held close enough or something, then I would be, like, my leg would be longer than the other one, right? Is basically what he told me. Something along those lines. So I was like, alright, cool, but I'm going to get the surgery, so is there a chance of that with the surgery? He's like, yes, but a very low chance. And I was like, okay, that's relieving. Yeah. So the day goes on, I get my visitors, I go through various levels of pain, because they try to take you off pain medicine like 2 hours before the surgery so they can really jack you up right before it. Mm-hmm. So there's about an hour span where I'm in a lot of pain. But I get a lot of visitors. That experience was nice. They had okay food. So the next interesting thing I can talk about is going upstairs. So I have to move beds for this, which I didn't enjoy at all. I was actually pretty nervous because I thought it was going to be as bad as the CAT scan. But it turned out being okay. So we move beds, we go upstairs. I'm like, all right, sick. Now we're upstairs. And that's when all the visitors happen. And then it comes time for the surgery, right? There's nothing very interesting. We go downstairs. I'm thinking I'm going to get good pain medicine because that's what they tell me. And this is the point where I'm hurting because they took me off of it for a while. So I'm like really eager for his pain medicine. They probably thought I was a junkie, to be honest. I was like, when am I getting my pain medicine? Like I was really
Yeah.
hinting I wanted it, right? But it was hurting. I mean, you can't blame me. It was hurting. But so we get there at the little pain room, and they're asking me all these questions and stuff. And then they're like, "Do you want a block?" I'm like, "What kind of block are we talking?" I'm like, "What do you mean a block?" That's a pretty,
Yeah.
wide term. And keep in mind, I never had surgery. I haven't. Well, I broke my arm before, but I didn't do any of this for it. They just wrapped me in a cast, and that's how my arm went. But so I asked them what's a block, and they're like, "So we're gonna flip you on your stomach, like back or like ass up on this bed, and we're going to numb the nerves connecting to your foot." And I'm like, holy shit, what are they talking about? Like that's what my mind's.
Yeah.
And then I thought about it. I was like, oh, okay. I was like, so second question, is it gonna hurt? They're like, yeah, it's gonna hurt, but we're gonna have you on a ton of pain medicine. You're probably not even gonna feel it. I'm like, you just said it's gonna hurt, but I'm not gonna. I didn't question it too much. I was like, what's the benefit of this, and what's the like consequences of it? They're like, after surgery, it's going to be way less painful than if we didn't do this for about 24 hours. And I've heard really good reviews of it and really bad reviews of it on like how effective it was. I was like, okay, that's not something I want to hear, but okay. And he's like, so as far as like the cons is you might have nerve damage. I'm like, I don't know what nerve damage is, sir. I know what it is, obviously, it's damage to nerves, but I don't know what that, like, means for me. So I'm like, could you expand upon nerve damage? He's like, basically, there will be some numbness in your toes. I'm like, what? Well, sign me up, sir. I don't care about my toes. But I didn't say that. I was like, yeah, sure, we'll do it. So they bring in the good stuff. Like, if you were there, there was a couple of people there at the time. I'm telling you, I didn't know what was happening. He told me to move my foot, and I was like, sure, I'll move my foot. I just flipped it over. I didn't feel anything. It was awesome. So I'm on my stomach, and I start thinking, because obviously when they first give you the high dose of pain medicine, you sort of don't care about anything for a couple minutes. So I'm on my stomach, and I'm thinking, I'm like, he's about to put a needle through a section of my nerves. And I'm like, I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
But I don't, it's so hard to explain the feeling. It didn't hurt. Well, I used to get allergy shots every week, so I'm like used to a needle going into my skin, and it had venom in it, so it hurt more. But anyways, so the needle itself I was used to, and I didn't really care. But he tells you, don't move your leg, right? I'm like, okay, I'm not going to move my leg. My leg's broken, so I wasn't going to move it in the first place, sirs. But I won't move it, just for you. You're special. So I'm sitting here, and he's putting the needle in, and he hits a section of my nerves, and I sort of spaz out my leg, right? But it wasn't painful. Like, if you've ever had this done, you know it's not painful. It just feels really weird. Like, a nerve being touched, it's a feeling that you don't feel unless it's a nerve being touched, So you can't really explain it, but it definitely feels weird. So he was like, all right, that wasn't the reaction we wanted, so I didn't hit the right nerve. Or something along those lines. Remember, I'm long gone at this point. I'm like, all right, cool, you keep going, whatever. I'm chilling. So then he hits the nerve to my foot. And I know it's the nerve to my foot because of the way it felt. Imagine throughout your whole body is spider webs connecting all your muscles. Like, I know this sounds really cliche, but it really felt like he tugged on one spider web and everything in my leg and my foot moved. Because I remember this so distinctly because he was like, all right, don't move. I was like, sick, I won't move. And then he touched that nerve. I'm telling you, I didn't know if I kicked or what happened, but it really felt like a system of strings got tugged on throughout my leg. And it was a really cool experience. Like I said, it didn't feel painful. It was just really weird, and it was a really unique feeling. But now another question you might be asking on some off chances, well, did you regret getting this done? And no, absolutely not. Because after I get in the surgery and everything, and I came out, I was like, oh, this don't even hurt, you know. I was expecting it to hurt like a bitch, right? Because it's a surgery putting screws in my bones and shit, right? And let me tell you, when it started wearing off, it was really painful. And I think if there's anyone watching asking if they should get a block themselves, if this ever comes up, I highly recommend it. Like, I really do, sincerely. It really did help. But back to the story. So I'm drugged up. I just got my nerves played with by a grown man, and I'm about to go into surgery. I'm about to go into surgery. So I'm real hyped up because the only thing I'm thinking about is I'm going to be asleep for a period of time, and during that period of time, I won't feel my ankle broken, right? So I'm hyped up. I'm like, yeah, I'm about to be put to sleep. I'm about to be knocked out. So I go in there, and I'm like high as hell off these drugs, y'all. And so they're like, all right, we need to get you onto this table. I'm like, yeah, sure, I'll get on that table, whatever. And so they put this like radiation mat under it. And I think that's just because I'm a bigger guy to get me on a different table once they're done. Because I was going to be asleep. So I think it was just easier for them to move me. So that was a little odd. I was like, why are we doing this? And then they straight up yanked off my fucking, what's it called? I don't even know what it's called. The little robe they give you. What's that shit called, Matthew?
The gown, the surgery gown.
Yeah, the gown. They straight up yanked that bitch off, but I was okay with it. Now, usually I would be super freaking out. I'm like, oh, well, that's gone. And they're all like, yeah, we need to take it off for the surgery.
Kinky.
So I'm sitting here naked as hell on this table. All these nurses looking at me, and I get asked, can we cut your toenails? I'm like, yeah, sure, you can cut all of them, actually. You can cut my fingernails, too. I'm like, gone, right? I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And so he puts this mask on me, right? The classic, you know, the anesthesiast mask that they give you. And he's like, oh, it's just oxygen. It's just oxygen right now. I'm like, it's just oxygen. And it went on for 10 seconds, so I think he actually did give me oxygen at the start. But eventually, you know, I quit remembering what happened, so I guess he put the gas in eventually.
Gas. Yeah.
No, not laughing. Is that what it's called? The shit that knocks you out? Yeah, whatever that's called.
It's like nitrous oxide or something like that. Probably gave you a good dose of that.
I wake up in my room, like the upstairs room. So I had been pushed through the halls, pushed upstairs, and put on a different bed for, like, since the surgery. So it was like waking up in Minecraft, like straight out of the movie, straight up. Like, I'm not kidding. Like, it was black at first, and then it started clearing up, and then I was at home. That's how it felt. I was like, home.
Yeah.
But you know, that's the most of the hospital experience. I mean, not most of it. There's a lot of complaining I could do, but, like, we're all humans. But the ending of the hospital experience was worth complaining about. So basically, they let me stay there one day because it was paid for by my insurance, right? Now, this is a for-profit hospital, so they're, like, most of the nurses at this point was focused on just getting me out of the hospital, like worrying about their paycheck, I guess. And it was like very obvious, and I didn't really, because these are the people that have been smiling, caring for you for a day straight, you know, acting like good friends, and then all of a sudden they don't care about your complaints. They gave me a liquid They gave me a liquid supper. Now, I had a liquid breakfast that morning, but I think it's because they didn't know what to give me, right? But they gave me a solid, like, lunch. Like, they gave me solid foods. It was roasted pork with gravy on it. Like, it was a great lunch. And then I could tell they quit caring, and then they gave me a liquid supper. I was like, whoa, okay. And my mom was talking
Yeah.
trash. If anyone knows my mom, she knows, she's a nice woman. But if anyone dares fuck with her kids in any way, she immediately turns into someone you never want to see again. but
Yeah.
but she was like, oh, they just put you out at this point. So I asked my surgeon. Now keep in mind, my surgeon's a great dude. He did the surgery nice. He's like a perfectionist, he said. Like, he was just a really good guy. He was helping me from the beginning with the wrappings and the pain medicine and everything. And I asked him, I'm like, my foot really, I don't think I should be moving it right now. So could you, let me stay at the hospital another day? Like, we pay for it, whatever. He's like, yeah, I'll tell the nurses. So he tells the nurses he thinks I should stay, but he didn't, specifically say, let him stay, He sort of suggested it, right? And my nurse comes in, she's like, all right, it's time to leave. I was like, but didn't my surgeon, tell you to let me stay another day? And she was like, I don't really remember, so I'll go ask the other nurses at the desk. She walks out, doesn't close the door, and I'm really close to, the nurses station, right? And I can hear this woman go, he's wanting to stay another night, but we should really get him out of here, shouldn't we? And all the other nurses are like, yeah, we should get him out. I hear that. I'm like, oh, you went to see if he said that or not. She comes back, she's like, yeah, the other nurses said that he said to go ahead and send you home tonight. I'm like, is that right? Because that ain't what I heard. But that pissed me off. I ain't even gonna lie. I know they basically cared for me for a day or whatever, but that pissed me off. And so at this point, my foot is hurting. This is after the block has went away. I'm feeling the full, I guess not full force of the pain, but this is about 16 hours after the surgery. I know the block's supposed to last 24, but it went away after 16 hours for me. And so it's hurting. I just want to go to sleep. I just want to lay down. I was trying to stay another day and maybe get up in the morning and leave or something. But they made me leave, right? And it was an awful experience, to be honest. I don't want to trash on them too bad, but I didn't appreciate that part. So,
Yeah.
We get my walker, we get my wheelchair, and, I get in the car, we go home. So, that's most of the experience. Now that I'm home, I mean, you can imagine how boring it is doing nothing but laying in bed all day because you can't really move around. And yeah, that's basically Maverick and how he broke his ankle and how it's been for him.
I think it's just kind of sad how they kind of forced you out. I mean, it's not like we live in a big city. I mean, like Soul calls it, we live in a fucking village. It's not like, I mean, there could have been
And
a
we
big
had the money.
backlog of patients.
That was the thing. We had the money to stay. We showed them the money, and they didn't really give a fuck. they just got. I think it was because.
Should we tell the water bottle story?
Water bottle story.
Oh, you probably don't remember.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you can tell them. About your water bottle.
Yeah. Alright, so first let's get a little bit of backstory. So, from what Maverick has told me, the hospital only has the little half-sized water bottles, little small ones. And when I came to visit them, I brought a water bottle with me. And, I was drinking out of it. It was nice. I went and picked up Taylor and took him to the hospital with me to come see you. And I get in the room. I sit my water bottle down on your table. We're chatting it up. You're high off your rocker, which is to be expected. And this nurse comes in, and she doesn't look like the happiest camper in the hospital. We'll just say that. And she's like, "It's time for your medicine, Maverick." Maverick's like, "Oh fuck yeah, give me that medicine, guys." And like that voice crack, anyways. Maverick's like, "Oh fuck yeah, give me that medicine, guys." And she hands him the pills, and Maverick puts them in his mouth, and she's like, "Here, wash it down with this." Grabs my full water bottle. Clearly not a hospital water bottle.
Because the hospital only has the real short ones.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty darn clear that it is not a hospital water bottle. Half drank, too. Half drank. I guess she assumed Maverick got up out of the bed and, went to the grocery and got him a water bottle. But
let me explain why it would be me getting up. My mom is super pregnant at this point, and she ain't supposed to be moving around either, and she's the only one there. So they assumed either me or my pregnant mom, who, like, late pregnancy, is going to go on an adventure for this water bottle. That's great.
So she just hands him my water bottle. He drinks out of it. Maverick don't know what the hell he's drinking out of. And I look at Taylor, and I'm like, "Taylor, I don't know if I should say something or, just..." I didn't know what to do. I mean, I probably should have said something, but thankfully I wasn't sick or anything. And we left the hospital, and I was like, "Taylor, that man drank out of my water bottle." He's like, "What?" I was like, "That nurse walked in and gave that man my water bottle." Like, what in tarnation?
I was long gone, so I didn't know what was happening. And she didn't ask either. She didn't ask anyone in the room, like, "Is this someone's water?" She just found the nearest convenient liquid to give me so I would take it, and she could not see me anymore, basically. She's like, "Oh, here's some water. Here, take this." I was like, "Yeah, sure, I'll take it." I didn't even remember this water bottle. I didn't even remember taking medicine when you came over. I didn't remember none of that shit. So that's why when he told me, I was cracking up.
I don't know if you remember this either, but there was, I think it was your IV machine. It was like beeping.
Oh yeah,
pretty loudly.
Bro, it was beeping the rest of the day after that. Like,
this nurse is like, I'll go get the surgeon to come fix this." Surgeon comes in, presses one button, leaves. All you hear is beep, beep. I mean, it's like, God damn, just fix this shit. I was like, Taylor's like, "Oh no, Maverick's done, cuz."
Well, I don't know if this was your occasion, but at one point it was beeping. You might not have been there. I think it might have been Callie Green and Michelangelo's other people, but at one point I had called on the little nurse phone. I was like, "Hey, this machine's beeping. Can someone come down here?"
Yep,
and then
that
they're
was
like,
you.
"Yeah, I'll ask someone. I'll ask someone." And then she hangs up, and then they never came. And then my mom had to get out the door and ask them to. It was just awful, to be honest.
I remember you calling on the little hospital thing once, and you pressed the button, and you just held it there for like 5 minutes, and finally like, "Yeah, what you need?" "Oh, this machine's beeping. Am I dying or something?" "Oh, I won't be there in a minute." Came in there, kept beeping. Oh, speaking of Taylor, look at this guy. We're in the middle of a podcast.
At one point, I called on the phone because of the beeping. They heard the beeping before I said anything, and they said, "I'll send someone down," and hung up. I didn't even get to talk. It's pretty awful.
Yeah. Taylor, do you remember walking out of the hospital and I was like, "Maverick just drank out of my water bottle"?
I don't think he has his audio included.
No, I just included it.
Oh. But Yeah, that was a real stink experience, I tell you that.
I'm off.
So,
What's the time looking like?
40 minutes. We can talk a
Nope.
little bit more. So how's it been at home? Like, what's your
You
daily
can't
routine?
imagine the boredom. My daily routine is sleep whenever I want, eat whenever I want. I can't take my medicine whenever I want. That's on time schedule, but I mean, it's just like you can't like when you get out of high school, you would be sitting at home all day, but you would go get a job, right? So it's not like I can get
Yeah.
up and go get a job to pass the time. I can't do that. I can't go to a friend's house because my house has a staircase and it's difficult to get up and down, and then not everyone has enough room in a car to put a walker, a wheelchair, a scooter, a toilet. Obviously, I don't carry all that, but I do have a walker and a wheelchair, and it's just like there's nothing to do. I haven't got my schoolwork yet because it took forever for my surgeon to get the papers done. Because originally I was going to be at home for 2 weeks and then go back to school. But basically what happened was some arrangements came up. I couldn't make it in 2 weeks because I couldn't put weight on my foot. And so it had to be changed to 8 weeks. So I'm homebound for 8 weeks. And I still don't have my homework, so I have nothing to do but watch TV, play games. I know some people's gonna be like, "Oh, that sounds awesome," but no, it gets pretty boring to be. It gets boring pretty fast.
Yeah.
Not having anything to
Are you
look
still in
forward to.
pain?
No, I actually got off my pain medicine early. I
Very
recovered
nice.
pretty
Is it
fastly.
did it swell up real bad after the surgery? Because I know you're talking about how the swelling was supposed to be real bad.
Oh, it was swollen like when I woke up, so I never noticed it swelling. But I noticed it going down because he wrapped my leg with the splint and sent me home. And now there's like room in my splint from where it was swollen. Like it just feels looser, I guess. So yeah, I did notice that as far as the swelling. I don't know what I was going to mention about the swelling, to be honest, but But overall, I had a fast pain recovery. Like, I still have some of the pain medicine, actually. Like, three of them, I think I have. But I don't know if we're supposed to throw them away if we don't use them or what. But I still have them. And no, I ain't gonna. It's probably gonna be some drug addict like, you should pass me them narcos stats. No, Jimmy, in the corner, you're not getting my pain medicine.
I think there's a place you can like drop them off or something or to discard.
I just wasn't trying to get addicted to my pain. I ain't gonna lie, someone missed a dose of my pain medicine. That's how I figured out I didn't need it anymore. And whenever it wasn't hurting after I didn't have a dose, I was like, oh, well, I don't need it anymore. I just quit taking it. So that's the reason why I got off of it early. And I don't want to be addicted.
Yeah. After my wisdom teeth surgery, I mean, I took like probably like 3 Percocets total, and that was like not even half the amount they gave me. And I was just like, nah, I don't need these.
Well, the reason I took it for so long was because they said not like they're basically like, don't be a hero and try to see if you can go without it, because if it gets to the point where all the pain is there and you have to take a medicine and wait for it to like kick in, then you're gonna hate yourself basically. Like if you try to be a hero and quit taking it like super early, because obviously you're not gonna know how painful it's gonna be if the pain medicine's doing its job and you get off of it. So that's why I even kept going that far.
Anything else you want to add?
Thanks for everyone who cared and came to visit me and has sent me get well text, and thank the boys for keeping me entertained when they get out of school, and that's about it. If anyone has any other medical questions on the low chance that this happens, you can get my Snapchat or something, and I'll tell you everything medical that happened that I remembered. Because that is something that, like, the whole time, if I had someone who went through it, like my mom went through it, and the whole time I was asking her a shit ton of questions. So if someone's out there who doesn't have anyone that's went through it, you can just ask me, and I'll tell you to the best of my capabilities. As far as me not being able to, like, walk correctly and all that stuff that I think I mentioned earlier, I had
Yeah.
an update. I'm supposed to update every week with them, and we had another X-ray and stuff. And he said it's hard to tell this early, but he thinks it looks okay right now. But where my stuff shattered, he basically had to remove all the small pieces, and we're just waiting for my two bones to grow like a brand new chunk together. Like
Mhm.
that's the kind of break I had. I don't think we explained too much into the break. I can't remember that far back. But
Said it got
so
dusted and all that.
yeah, it's hard to tell if like I'm gonna be walking weird. If I do, it won't be major. Like you won't be able to tell. It'll be something I notice, not everyone else. But
Yeah.
like, I'm not upset about any of this because I can't really be upset about a slight change in my walk when there's people who don't have legs at all, you know? And that's another
Yeah.
thing that going through something like this changes. Like, before I never thought about that, and I would always whine about stupid stuff, but like, being in the hospital and hearing all the crazy stuff that went on, like someone had a stroke, right? And I had to see family members coming in crying. Like when I first got there, I was like, well, my life sucks. I just broke my ankle. And then immediately after someone had a stroke and like they could be dying, I was like, okay, I only broke my ankle. You know, it kind of changes that perspective. Like I'm a lot more
Yeah.
thankful that it's not worse. I'm not really complaining about it. But other than
Yeah.
that, I mean, my healing's going good. It doesn't look like it's going to affect me in a major way. I'll have plates in my leg for the rest of my life, but I'm not too worried about that. That
Yeah.
won't like change anything about me. He said I'd be more stiff. I don't know what that means yet because I haven't been walking, but I mean, even that's not too big of a deal compared to what other people deal with every day.
You'll probably lose a little bit of like range of motion in your foot,
Yeah,
but
nothing that, like, I ain't doing sprint, like marathon sprints. I do plan on going
yeah.
back to working out, so I don't know how much that'll affect me. We haven't even like begun to discuss that yet because I'm in the early stages. Obviously, 8 weeks, and this is like my second weekend or something. We haven't even started discussing me going back to the gym,
I would
weightlifting, any of
suggest
that yet.
swimming.
I know, but it's hard enough for me to get to the gym now. I don't know
Yeah.
about swimming.
There's a guy that comes in all the time and he has plates like in his shoulders. I'm pretty sure he has one in his
Hmm.
legs as well.
Yeah, my
And
mom has had multiple plate surgeries in her neck, and when she broke her ankle, she broke both bones completely through. And so she says it'll be. She told me it'd be stiff after the surgery, but I haven't noticed a change. I don't know if that's because she had more plates than me or what. Like, I don't know what they mean yet, if that makes sense.
yeah.
I'm sure I'll figure it out eventually, but yeah, it was
Yeah.
really helpful to have my mom through the whole thing. She sort of like calmed me because I'm a really like panic guy. Like I was thinking I was gonna be looking like a one-legged giraffe walking down the halls of the school. I was worried about all kinds of crazy things. And my mom was like, calm down, you idiot. You're going to be fine. I'm fine. It hasn't changed my life that much.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been an adventure nonetheless. I definitely view life differently now. I'm a lot more thankful that my life isn't worse than it is.
Yeah.
But other than that, I don't have anything else to touch on.
All right. Anything you want to add, Taylor? Yeah.
Oh, I'm too tired.
Very nice.
Stream probably couldn't even hear that. He said he was too tired. But all right.
All right.
What
Well,
what
thanks.
EggCast is this? EggCast
Number 4.
4 signing out. Egg.
Egg, 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 egg. Now for the awkward silence while I close the stream. Egg, 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 egg.